politically, the temptation now, it seems the desire now is to polarise us so ridiculously that we lose the ability to think freely. And it works, as we've seen. I mean, look who's living in the White House now. Treat people like complete idiots, throw in a fat vein of racism, racist validation, and you can end up being effectively the most powerful man in the free world. But I like to think that Brits are better than that, and so far we seem to have been, but there's an awful lot of effort being put into reversing us, sending us back in the wrong direction. So this weird story today, I still don't quite get it, about Jeremy Corbyn's apparent promise to eradicate student debt, which didn't appear in the Labour Party's manifesto, and yet is front page news when the Conservative Party's abandonment of pretty much everything in the manifesto isn't front page news. So, I mean, off the top of my head, there's even the sort of fairly low rent stuff like fox hunting. Fox hunting, the dementia tax, they backtracked on that before they'd even published the manifesto, didn't they? Or no, before the election. So you've got the dementia tax, said they're going to do something, didn't. Now say they're definitely not. Fox hunting. The ivory trade was supposed to be restarted. They've reversed on that. Is there anything that was in that manifesto that is still Conservative Party policy? And yet, if you are a certain type of journalist, you apparently think people are so stupid that when you tell them that Jeremy Corbyn has told a porky pie that wasn't in the manifesto and that he never actually told, you've got such faith in the stupidity of your readers and your audience that you think they're going to start gnashing their teeth when you tell them that he's told a lie. If you need a better illustration of how bonkers British media has become, surely that would be it. As you know, if you listen to this programme on a regular basis, I hold no candle for Jeremy Corbyn, and indeed I found his comments about the single market and the European Union this weekend absolutely appalling. Whether or not he was speaking from ignorance or deceit, I do not know and probably never will. But he's offered hope to a lot of people, and you'd be stupid to look the other way and not try to work out why. How can anybody look at a government that has abandoned pretty much every single manifesto pledge under which they were elected, albeit with a hugely reduced majority, and be quite relaxed and ambivalent about it, and yet somehow be susceptible to the tabloid whipping up rhetoric of a promise Jeremy Corbyn didn't actually make being broken? That if you need a perfect illustration of how dangerous things are politically at the moment, that would be it. So what are you politically? Oh, well, I'm a Conservative journalist. How do you feel about the fact that every single pledge in the manifesto has been abandoned? It's 2:20. What are you having for lunch? Oh, I see. How do you feel about Jeremy Corbyn breaking a promise that he never made? Absolutely outrageous, the communist. It's just disgusting. It's indicative of precisely the sort of fraud that man will perpetrate across the... But hang on a minute, he never actually said it. And your lot made loads of promises and broke some of them before the election had even started. They broke some of the manifesto promises before the polls had even opened. Yes, but, you know, strong and stable. And the other fella, Corbyn, the one that didn't make a promise but is now on the front page of the Mail for apparently breaking... Yes, absolutely outrageous. I know loads and loads of people who voted for him because they thought their student debt was going to be wiped out. Could you get one of them to ring me? I had a phone line open since 10 this morning. Haven't had a sniff.
Is a question for people who already have that debt or people who are currently in university. What does it mean for them? What can you do for somebody who already has £27,000 worth of debt? You can look after the people going into university next year, but what about the people who spent 10 years being charged £9,000 a year?
Yeah. First of all, we want to get rid of student fees altogether, and we'll do it as soon as we get in, and we will then introduce legislation to ensure that any student going from 2017 to 18 academic year will not pay fees. They will pay them, but we'll rebate them when we've got the legislation through. That's just fundamentally the principle behind it. Yes, there is a problem of those that currently have a massive debt, and I'm looking at ways that we could reduce that, ameliorate that, lengthen the period of paying it off, or some other means of reducing that debt burden. I don't have the simple answer for it at this stage. I don't think anybody would expect me to, because this election was called unexpected. We had 2 weeks to prepare all of this, but I'm very well aware of that problem, and I don't see why those that had the historically misfortune to be at university during the 9,000 period should be burdened excessively compared to those that went before or those that come after. So I will deal with it.